friends and fellow Sim historians, welcome back to another episode of my Victorian Society challenge. This is episode number 2. I know it's been a few weeks, months since I did the first episode, but I have had a renewed enjoyment of The Sims 4 that I totally wasn't expecting, so I do anticipate on posting more of these soon for you guys. So we are here with the Browning household. This is the very cranky youngest son. His name is Harrison. Honestly, I think Harrison is probably my favorite of the boys in this family, which is unfortunate because there's like literally no chance that he could be heir. But that's okay. We're going to continue and try and keep him around for as long as possible. And here is his father, James, who is working to fix the house. They don't exactly have a lot of money. They get maybe about like 500 a day from his wife, Eloise. She does a lot of painting, and so we sell those paintings, and that's how we get most of our money. Harrison is, of course, the angstiest teen that you could possibly imagine. If you watch my Sims 2 series, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Julian, so we're just gonna kind of go in with those vibes and embrace it. Here is the eldest. This is Theodore. Theodore is the heir. He does a little bit of writing in his free time. He really does enjoy a bit of writing, and so I let him hang out with the typewriter. Unfortunately, the typewriter is in Helena's bedroom, which I think was a poor design decision on my part, but you know what, we're gonna go with it. And here is Archibald. Archibald is a twin with Helena, I believe, and actually I can't remember if Theodore, Helena, and Archibald are like triplets. It's definitely possible. Oh, Eloise likes cooking. Actually, that fits perfectly for her. I absolutely love that. I'm really enjoying. I haven't really played The Sims 4 since they added a lot of the likes and dislikes and some of the story progression or like neighborhood progression and stuff. And so I'm actually really enjoying that. And of course, Eloise is doing most of the cooking around the house because this is the 19th century. We do have Eloise and Helena, the two women in the house, doing most of the cooking. I have upgraded their house a little bit. You might have noticed in the first episode that they now live in Headford-on-Bagley. So I gave them a llama, a cow, and a bunch of chickens. And let me tell you, I am not good at keeping animals alive. If you watch my last stream where I literally killed like 3 rounds of cows, you would know that I can't be trusted. So I am kind of obsessively feeding and cleaning the animals like coops and barns and stuff. I'm also still not over the disappointment of the fact that the barns are little rabbit holes, but that's a complaint for another day that we can dive into. And it is time to replace the laundry water. We do most of our washing by hand in this little wash bucket, and we line dry everything. And I think the laundry, I was one of those crazy people who voted for the laundry pack because I love these sort of simple experiences that we can get in the 19th century, and that really goes along with it. I also decide it's probably time to give them some plots for farming because this family actually started off as a farming family, and unfortunately we did lose a lot of those plants when we moved houses and built our new lot in Henford-on-Bagley. We were originally in Windenburg, which was my favorite and probably still is my favorite town. And Theodore, I tell to go plant some things. He plants some mushrooms and then immediately begins reading in the garden, which is the whole mood, and it just like really does fit his persona as a writer in this era. He's not... What? Wait, Helena aged up? Oh, okay, so she's hot-headed and she aged up. What is happening? Why did you come home from school and age up? What did I do? Okay. Oh, God. Oh, okay. So everyone has aged up. I forgot that I changed the lifespan to short the last time I was playing, and so I totally missed 3 Sims birthdays, which I didn't mean to do. So now my Sims are going to be all sad and upset because we missed their birthdays. Look at the little bunny. Oh my god, it's so cute. So I send all 3 of these kiddos to finish planting stuff because Theodore got a little distracted by reading and didn't exactly get that done. Of course, Harrison, thank God, did not age up as well. And is still at school, so he is not participating in the plantathon that we have going on, but that is okay. We'll get him to do a little bit of work when he comes home because this is a farmhouse, and that does mean that everyone really does need to contribute. Especially because I would consider them lower middle class. They have a beautiful little cottage, but they're definitely far from upper class and even far from upper middle. If they were upper middle, they would be participating in some more social experiences around town. And as you know, this is the beginning of my new series, and so there are only 2 other families in town, and there's just not really enough infrastructure. I also have the simple living, I think that's what it's called, challenge on, and so we can only cook when we have all of the ingredients for the food, which like brings me so much joy. I have been wanting this part of The Sims 4 for a long time and was kind of like self-imposing as well, that my Sims could only cook with what they had. So this brings me a lot of joy. Previously, I was also using like the complete grocery overhaul, and I thought that was really fun, although a little bit clunky because you had to unpackage everything in their inventory before you actually, you know, could use it. What? Why are you under the stairs? Helena, what? Sims 4, how did she get under the stairs? Oh my god. Okay. I also apparently forgot how to move Sims, because in The Sims 2, I'm just used to putting move objects on and picking them up and moving them somewhere else. But unfortunately, that does not appear to actually work in The Sims 4. So I literally just added a door back there and she walked out. And then I forgot to, you know, actually move it. Apparently my chickens want to leave now too, even though I have been very meticulous about taking care of them. So that's a whole other thing. So now that the kiddos are actually adults, it's about time to settle down on our heir's partner. So this is the Frost household, and this is Abigail Frost. We have had a good friendship with her since we were children, and so I decided to give her a little Love Day gift because it's actually Love Day, which is the perfect day to send Theodore out to scope out potential partners. I do decide to send Archibald along just for fun, just to get him out of the house, and Harrison joins too, but I don't think Harrison really cares about anything other than himself at the moment. You see why I love him? He's just so selfish and wonderful. That came out wrong. I do send Theodore inside to have a conversation with Johnson Frost. This is Abigail's father. I just wanted to kind of have them have a conversation about the potentiality of possibly a match or a marriage. So he's having a conversation with him. Their mother Angelica actually did a little baking. We have some brownies on the table, but no one's really engaging with that. So to scope out our other marriage option, I wanted to send them over to the Whitley household. This here is Janie Whitley. You should recognize her from my first inklings of this challenge when it was just like Victorian Sims 4. So they do have a little bit of history. They do know each other. However, I did kind of move them into a different hood and changed things up a bit. And so I need to have them become reacquainted, which is a little bit inconvenient, but hazards of the trade as you will. And Janie is probably one of my favorite Sims. I think she is so cute and I just really enjoy her. So I decide that we're going to let Harrison also maybe give her a gift, have a little flirtation, see what comes of this, because I do really like Abigail, but there just wasn't a whole lot of chemistry there. Like, we gave her the Love Day gift, and to be fair, we gave her a vegetable. Like, we didn't even give her a flower. I'm thinking now maybe that their lack of chemistry was my fault. And this is Philip Whitley. I'm obsessed with him. He is absolutely ridiculous. He is an angsty teenager who's also remarkably self-assured, and I just think he has so much charisma. He's an absolute delight. So this time we have Theodore gift Janie a Loveday gift that's actually a flower, so we can check off that little task, although I think it glitches out and doesn't actually work because she's technically still a teenager and he's now an adult, which is unfortunate because I'm not going to try again and give a flower to some random adult sim because I don't want to ruin the plot, you know? Back at home, we have James working on the garden, doing a little watering, doing a little spraying of bugs. I haven't figured out exactly what I should be doing about bugs and vermin in the Victorian Sims yet, so if you have any ideas, drop it down below. And lo and behold, Abigail the next morning actually comes to visit us of her own volition, which is very interesting. However, Theodore is not exactly interested. He's kind of set his sights on Janie and sends Archibald out to greet her. And you know what? Archibald doesn't mind the situation. And so I think they actually have a little bit more natural chemistry than Theodore and Abigail did. So I don't know, maybe we have a little match there. I don't really like to marry all three of my founding families to each other in the first few rotations because the town is so small. There are only like 3 Victorian families that I've really set in this town so far. And so every week I am going to add another family just so we can actually have some genetic diversity in town because I think that's a little bit more realistic. And of course our llama is dirty and is threatening to leave us again because I'm great with animals, let me tell ya. And so I send James out to do a little bit of the cleaning of the animals. We keep Eloise inside most of the time because she's doing our painting, and that's at the moment where we're getting most of our source of income. Ooh, Eloise has a painterly calling. That's perfect. Man, I am shocked. This woman has picked up liking of both cooking and painting, which is just absolutely perfect. I think I might have had an existential crisis if she got the pop-up that she didn't like either of those, because as a 19th century woman, she doesn't exactly have the most options. And I've kind of thought about having some degree of social progression happening in the later generations, but you'll have to let me know, like, if you play a historical game, do you do any social progression? Any, like, at some point you add suffrage, women's suffrage and stuff like that. Or, I mean, we could always do a war, but one of the hallmarks of the 19th century, and specifically in Victorian England, was that not going to war was kind of important socially. Let's acknowledge that their imperialism is still very violent, but if you ask the Victorians, they were very peaceful people, whether or not that was actually true. And I just have to say that I'm absolutely loving the cross-stitching. We do get Eloise out of the house finally to get herself a little of that vitamin D, just to make sure the animals are all getting taken care of pretty quickly. And look who has decided to come visit us again. It is Janie Whitley. So that is an absolute delight. It's great to see her. I think we are gonna go ahead and get these two married. If you use any mods, that really helps out with arranged marriages, with 19th century historical marriages that don't necessarily start out as romance, let me know, because I'm still kind of exploring that. In The Sims 2, of course, we have that wedding arch that allows your Sims to get married regardless of what their relationship is, and I haven't quite nailed down an alternative for The Sims 4 yet. So let me know if you use that. I would love to incorporate it into my game. At the moment, I'm just using MC Command Center to essentially change things up a bit and make sure they have high enough relationship to actually like get married and not freak out and leave. Although I've never actually had a Sim in The Sims 4 leave someone at the altar. So does that happen? Like, I've definitely had a lot of Sims who have been rejected when the sim proposes. So I decided to give it a go. I think the relationship is high enough, and she actually does accept the marriage proposal, which is such a relief. Although unfortunately with it comes a little bit more romance than I would like my Victorian Sims to have before they are married. So we do set up the wedding arch in the backyard. It's very rustic, and let's be real, no one's even going to use the seats or the stools because it's The Sims 4. And so I give her a new hairstyle. I think this is the hairstyle I'm going to keep her in when she does actually move in and is a part of the Browning family. And I couldn't quite decide if I wanted to put a veil on her. I really love this veil, but it just doesn't seem to work with this hairstyle because it's so far off of her head. So ultimately I decided to just put some little like white bauble flowers in her hair along the braid that actually go with this hairstyle. And I think that worked out perfectly fine. I think she looks absolutely beautiful. And guys, it's our first marriage of the challenge already in episode 2, which, like, let's be real, that's like, it's me. This was bound to happen, you know? And they're absolutely thrilled by the prospect of getting married. I'm so impressed at the way these two have sort of built up chemistry over the last episodes. And they've known each other since they were children, which just makes this even better. Unfortunately, Harrison decides to stand the entire time, and their father, James, is kind of walking back and forth in the back of their wedding vows. But you know what? That's just a classic hazard that we have with The Sims 4. But I love this kiss they do once they get married. They look like they're absolutely smitten with each other. Even though, you know, her family is on the other side of the house and didn't actually decide to join while they got married. So here she is. Like I said, we kept that haircut, and I'm gonna let her keep this dress for now, just because, you know, we have a very finite amount of Victorian outfits in this game at this moment, and so I don't want to go through them too quickly because I want everyone to be able to look unique and individual. So she is talking to her mom, who's talking to Mr. Frost, Johnny Frost here, or Johnson's Frost. I can't remember if he's Johnny or his son is Johnny, but one is Johnny and one is Johnson. And so she's kind of like, seriously, parents? Like, you didn't actually sit down for my wedding? Why are you all the way over here? Is that my fault as the Simmer for not knowing how to force people to sit down during a wedding that didn't actually get a proper event because that requires 1,000 simoleons and we can't afford it? Yeah, I mean, that's probably my fault, but so it goes. So we actually decide to move Archibald and Harrison to Theodore's room, and that way we can put a double bed in the old boys' room because it's a little bit bigger. So that is where we are going to end off today. I hope you liked today's episode. If you did and you want to see a little bit more, don't forget to like and subscribe for some more Victorian content. I also have a really great Sims 2 series that is just kind of my bread and butter that is also a Victorian challenge, and you might like that too, and it's kind of like The Sims 2 is my favorite, as a lot of you know. So thank you so much for watching. I am so grateful for you all. Bye!